Morning, Avram. How's it going, man?
All right, Daf Chof, all the way to the top. Story.
Which one? Amar Lahu? Where we have to?
Okay, good. The Oilam is also good. Daf Chof, we're holding by 2 lines down. Amei Mar Mazut Rav Ashi. Says the Gemara. Amei Mar Mazut Rav Ashi Avi Yasvik Amei Umona. They were sitting by the blood letter. It was a big thing in those days. They would let out most of their blood, even all sorts of for refuah, medicinal reasons. Shakli Lake Harno, 5 minutes. Shakli Lake Harno Kamaisela Meimar. They took the first vial of blood from a Meimar. Chazeh, he looks at this blood, he takes the vial like this. Omar Luhu, Odoim Desnan Kehai. Oh, that's exactly the red that we're discussing. Check this out. Shakli Leachriti. Now they take the second vial. Omar Luhu, Ishtani. Oh, you see the red? It looks very, very, very similar, but no, that's not Dam Niddah. Omer Rav Ashi's there. I can't tell the difference. What is going on here? Well, if he was colorblind, he wouldn't have to come on to this. It seems like it was so minute. I should not be involved with this whole checking dam because I cannot see the difference. We see soon in the Gemara, it just seems like the differences in shades are so minute, you have to be a professional. Indeed, most people today don't differentiate between red and red. The Rabbanim, that is, they won't tell you that they are proficient enough to differentiate. Although Yosef said yesterday that Daim Fisher used to, and I heard that as well, that he said he was proficient enough. It comes with a lot of experience, and you have to have an eye. Messiah, but here, Rav Ashi just said it's an eye. Rav Ashi said eye.
At some point you...
Time out. Wait a minute, time, stop. We just learned this second. This second we learned that Ameimar showed him 2 bloods. Here, this cup and this cup. You see the difference? And Rav Ashi says, I can't see it, so it's an eye.
You can see it. You need to know what it means.
Oh, so you need both.
He showed it to him. He showed him a sample. He said, this blood is Tameh, this blood from the same person. It came out 2 minutes later. It's the first blood letting out.
But if you can't see the difference, you get as much as as you want.
How did Ameimar know? Yeah, that he got from tradition. But he tried to teach it to his Talmud and he couldn't get it.
I have no eye. When we learn Maris,
So it's a combination. It's combination. It's Messiah, but even after the Messiah, he said, I don't see what you're talking about. All right.
When I was young, I once had a show. I went to my role.
Yeah.
I've seen Raka. And I showed it to him. And he went to his swearing shrine and he had a look at it. So I asked him, how do you know what color it is? How can you tell? So he says, I had a Kabbalah from my Rebbe that he always used to go to his trunk.
Yeah.
And it was a certain mahogany color, which was really had really.
But what if they had different mahogany?
Exactly.
He bought the same.
Mom's like the Gemara soon. They bought the same thing. Rabbi Schoenberg, I have bad news for you. I was gonna invite you now to speak for a few minutes on ink. That's it. You just lost your time. Yesterday, right after Shir, you weren't here. I happened to daven. I usually don't. I happened to daven in the earlier minyan. And Rav Schoenberg came over to me and he spoke to me about ink for 23 minutes on the clock. It's a huge sugya. He has a lot to say about it. He confused me. I still am very confused. Basically, there's 2 types of ink, and I'm sure he's going to correct me. But as you know, he's written his papers on it. He's done his research. One of the things Rabbi Schoenberg told me was that this guy invented a special ink that doesn't come off for Sefer Torahs, and he got a hechsher from Rav Ozen in America, but Rav Yashiv said it's not ink for whatever reason. And in his paper, he brings some French paper, and he brings a raya from there. And Rabbi Schoenberg contacted him and says, did you see the French paper itself? He goes, no. He says, well, here in the French paper, there's a question mark at the end. So don't bring a raya, bring the line without the question mark. Anyways, so he's done his research. And if he starts talking now, we're in big trouble because it's a very, very long daf. But the bottom line is, there's 2 types of ink, basically. This carbon ink. Carbon ink is if you take you burn, you have a fire, you have a flame, and you put something on top of the flame, that whatever it is going to become black. If you scrape that black off, there you have pure carbon. You gather it and you make something like this. This is Rabbi Schoenberg's specimen. He had this in Menachos. You got to take real good care of it. The Gemara says that some of the Tanaim, they would break it in half. So I tried it yesterday. I broke this thing in half. No. This is the carbon one, right? Then you have, this is carbon. This is what they use in China. I guess you mix it a little bit with water, or you go like this. This stuff, the Rambam says, this could last for 1,000 years in a Sefer Torah. The other ink, we don't use this. The other ink that we use today is gall nuts. It's basically a wasp goes onto a leaf, makes some sort of cocoon, you mix it with, Rabbi Schoenberg, please, some chemical, and poof, it turns into black ink. Now, the problem with that is, if you look at Tosfos right over here, it's very interesting. Tosfos says, the small Tosfos, and smack in the middle, that's called afatzim, and it's also why? Because it starts out as liquid, and only after you put it on the cloth does it harden. Which would be very interesting, because all you guys, Nachman Seltzer, and all those guys that wear Rabbeinu Tam tefillin, according to Rabbeinu Tam, that tefillin is possible, because it was written with afatzim. So, but we said, when we learned Menachos, we said that whoever's wearing Rabbeinu Tam tefillin, anyways, it's possible because it's not, the parshas are sideways and not upwards, v'chulu v'chulu. That's a different story. What comes out, bottom line is that all our Sefer Torahs, according to Rabbeinu Tam, and a lot of Rishonim are pasul. According to the Rambam, he passes, you could, b'di'evet, use what we use today, afatzim. It's interesting that there should be some sort of, brisker that's running around and writing Sefer Torahs with this thing. Why? It's not clear, because it's hard to make ink out of this. They don't know exactly how to do it. How this fits into our Gemara, not exactly sure. This is what we want to say is cheres. Shachar kecheres, when dam looks like this, shachar kecheres. Now let's see if it fits in. With the permission of Rabbi Shimon, here, you could give this back to him. Here. Just don't break it. Be very careful with it. Shachar kecheres. Amar Rabbi Bar-Avuno, cheres sha'amru dyoy. How that fits in, I'm not so sure. Basically, Rashi is saying, it's like you take this, here, give this to me for a second, you take this, and you mix it with the ink and not with water. You dilute it with ink. But this is ink. But it says dyoy. You rub it with dyoy. If this is dyoy, it's kind of hard to fit into the language. The point is that it's darker than diluting it with water. Why are you talking about cheres? Just talk about the product, the resulting product called ink. Now, when you dilute it, so you have sediments that go to the bottom. Those are the darker sediments, like in a bottle of wine, the sediments on the bottom, that's darker red. And then you have the liquidy stuff that floats to the top. Don't use that. That's not the color we're looking for. We're looking for the bottom. The second one, okay, we're not going to talk about it. Fine. Should it look like this? Dry. Or liquid? Tashma, the Rebbe Ami, Poli, Kurta. Did Yosef, you take dried ink, you would break it open, so in the kids we're talking about dry ink. Okay, Yishkach Rav Schoenberg, I'm sure whoever wants to hear, he has amazing stuff to talk about. I'm not kidding, this is like very, very deep sugya, it's a big sugya in Gittin, it's a sugya in Shabbos, it's a sugya in Menachos. How diyar is made, there's different, Rashi over here uses Lashonis here, where was that word? Adarment, there's copper, there's gold, there's all sorts of...
It's not real, by the way.
What?
Only the ink for the Sefer Torah is real. Nowadays the ink is all chemical based.
Yeah, but no, it's made out of gold, whatever. I don't know, gold, not gold stone, gold, what did I say? Gold nuts. Fine. Omer Rav Yehuda Omer Shmuel. Now if you remember in the Mishnah, we have to remember this line. The Mishnah says that it's shachar kecheres, when it's black like this cheres ink thing, that's the color. What about darker? The Mishnah says darker than that is certainly tameh. Lighter than cheres is tar. That's what the Mishnah says. Omer Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel, kikir. What's kikir? Like a wall. Says Rashi, like black wax. Kidyoy. This is also difficult to understand because we just were talking about cheres of dyoy, and now we're talking about dyoy. Uche'anav, and like a grape, a dark grape, a black grape, tmeya. Because these shades of black are darker than the shade of black of cheres. Now, black wax. And although Rabbi Schoenberg sent me yesterday a long email, in there it said that this carbon only reflects 2%. It seemed like it's very, very dark. But there's even darker than that, I guess. Fine. Now, what do we do with this? And that's why the Mishnah says there are shades that are even darker that are tamei. And what are the shades that are lighter? Kizayis, like a black olive, kizephes. Now, in those days, they didn't have the tar that we do on, our tar is a byproduct of oil. It's different.
You mean on the road? Yeah,
the roads, and that's what we're talking about. What's the exact word of zephes? It came from sap, from that sort of thing, but it was dark. Now, this really got me thinking, what's going on? The way I understand the raven, when I see one on the street, it's darker than dark. Right? It's really black. So I finally today saw the Rishonim talk about it. They say no, these are very dark things. If you look, I looked at a picture of an olive on Google. It's very black. I can't imagine anything blacker than an olive, than a really black olive and a black raven. So they say you're right. It is a very dark shade of black, but it has a sheen to it, and that sheen could throw you off, and it makes it look like a lighter shade. Fine, and therefore tahar. And that's why it's considered lighter than the cheres, than that piece of ink that I held in my hand. I think it actually got me black. That's matte, and therefore it makes sense according to what you sent me, that the reflection maybe has to do with the reflection of the light on a matte surface it comes out darker. Fine. Ula Amar. You want to know what black is? I'll tell you. Kilevusha siyua or siva. It's like what they wear in this place. What? What would we do without Nachman? None of us would finish us. He's the savior. We miss 10, 15 words in Shas, not good. Yeah, no. 15. 15 a day. They wore this very dark clothing, and that's the black. Says the Gemara, beautiful story. Ulo ikla lepumpadisa. He was once walking in Pumbedisa. Of course, when the Rosh Yeshiva walks, all his Talmidim are around him. Chazi lautaya. This is a famous lashon in Shas. Every time they would see these goyim, when it came to scientific things, they would some sort of Arab. The lavish levushu kama. He was wearing a dark clothing, black clothing. He told his Talmidim, shachar desnanki hai. You want to know what black is? Just like this guy. So what do all the Talmidim naturally do? Ratu minei purta. It reminds me of that joke that Mayor Kenning loves to say. A guy saw a vertically challenged person walking down the street. So he walked over to him, he lifted him up, and so they walk over to this guy. They start ripping the parts. But they paid him. They said, "Listen, we need a part of your suit. How much? Rebbe said, this is the sample. We all need samples. We go to the bookcase. We need a piece of your bookcase. That's how it works."
Rashi once saw a lady riding on a horse, and he didn't understand why he saw that. So afterwards, when he realized there was something which in the Gemara and the Ephod was Kayan Gali. So now I understand why I saw this lady on the horse, because I had to understand Pshat.
Okay. But each one paid a zuz, says the Gemara. They all took a little sample of his clothing. Yavubei arba me'ezuzah, like we said, and we said the other day, 400 is always a lashon of, not always, but it's a lashon of exaggeration. But Kitzer, he made a ton of money off it. Doesn't mean he literally made it 400. It's a lot of money. Yeah, he was happy. This is like a gadta, basically. We can fly through this for the most part. What? Okay, 10 minutes. You leave that to Mr. Feder, please. Kalim ul yorim. You want to know what black is? It comes from ul yorim. It's from out of the country. Abam Medinas Hayam. Says the Gemara. So you're telling me that all ul yorim clothing is du'ukmeninu, l'memru du'ukmeninu, v'amerlu Rabbi Yana l'banov. Rabbi Yana told his sons in his tzava, Banai, altik baruni lo b'kelim shchorim v'lo b'kelim levanim. Don't bury me not with black, not with white. Shchayim Shema Eska, maybe I will check this out. This is Rabbi Yanai. Rabbi Yanai. All of us, if you ask us about it, we're great people. We're all going to Gan Eden. We spoke a little Lashon Hara. Maybe we'll make a stop somewhere for a day or two. But Rabbi Yanai himself, what did he think about himself? He says, listen, Shema Eska, maybe I'll be able to go into Gan Eden. Ve'eya ka'evel ka'avel ben achasanim. I'll look silly if I wear black clothing. It's interesting that he's telling his sons that what he's being buried in, that's what he's going to walk into Gan Eden with. How that works, I'm not sure. Levanim, don't dress me in white. Shema lo yeska. Rabbi Yanai says maybe I won't make it to Gan Eden. Where is he going to go? To Gehenim. What do they wear in Gehenim? They wear the funeral clothes, the black stuff. Shema lo yeska. I look weird in Gehenim. I want to fit in. In Gehenim, I want to fit in. So what should I wear? Elo bekalim hol yorin haboim medinas hayam. Give me something red. So I'm nishtahi. I don't stick out too much. A nice red suit will fit right in. Alma la vukmeninu. So you see that ul yorin is not black. He said it's red. Rabbi Yanai was talking about a nice suit. Suits are in ul yorin are red. Rabbi Yochanan was talking about a tablecloth. Tablecloth in ul yarn, all the here, like this tablecloth that we have right here, black. So the Mishnah brings 5 colors. How do you check the 5 colors? On a white cloth. You take the dam and you put it on a white. On a white, then it comes out nicely. What would that tell you if you're just reading this line? You would say everything in the Mishnah. V'kulan means every color in the Mishnah, including black. No, black goes on a red cloth, not on a white. Because you want that contrast, I guess. White is too much of a contrast. Red gives it a little bit more of a. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, no machloikis habeshachar b'shar damim. Rabbi Yehuda, in the name of Shmuel, was talking about the 4 colors in the Mishnah, not including the black one. That black, anyways, is red that became black later on. It's in its own category. So why didn't he say so? When you read Shmuel, it says v'chulam, all bloods. He doesn't make any distinction between black and the other colors. There is a machlokes between Shmuel and who was it? Rav Yitzchok bar Avdimi. That what? According to Shmuel, it's all colors including black. You check it on a white cloth. According to Rav Yitzchok bar Avdimi, it's on a red cloth. Kulon Amoik Mikain Tomei. The Yeh Mikain Tar. Got a chart. It's important to have this chart because there are a few shittas here. I did it on purpose. This is dark and this is light. So in our Mishnah, the first one is Shachar, black. You see, it's black. That's the only thing that matches. Black, when it's darker than the black of the Mishnah, the black of the Mishnah is that piece of cheres that we held up before, Tomei. Lighter than that is tar. The question is, how do we view other bloods in the Mishnah? The Mishnah doesn't describe it. The Mishnah says one thing. When it comes to shachar, if it's more than shachar, tamei. Less than shachar is tar. What about diluted wine? That's one of the colors in the Mishnah. What about the red that comes out of the earth? Doesn't say if it's more, it's tamei, and less is tar. So what is the halacha? For that, we have a machlokes. According to Rami Bar Chama, everything is tar. If it's more or less, it's tar. It has to be exactly like the Mishnah. According to Reb Ami, more or less, everything is tamei. So what's the obvious question on Reb Ami? If more or less, everything is tamei, so then what is the exact shade that the Mishnah is talking about? So then why are you giving me a shade? Everything is tamei. Because he says that very more is actually tahar. In other words, 1 shade off of what the Mishnah talks about is tamei. 2 shades off, let's say, is tahar. Fine. And then you have Ula, who says that shachar and all the bloods in the Mishnah are all the same. It's one halacha. Anything more than the shade of the Mishnah is tamei. Anything less than the shade of the Mishnah, everything is tahar. That's the machlokes going on here. And then you have Bar Kapara. One last sheet of Bar Kapara, which tells us that he only argues, he says everything in the Mishnah is the same, besides diluted wine. Diluted wine, he puts it in its own category. More or less is tahar. Let's see inside. Ama'ula, now that we have a chart, it's much easier, right? We'll fly now. Just pretend you know the chart Balpeh. Kulon Ameg Mikain Tamei, De Mikain Tar Kishachar. Ula is this shita. Black and red has the same halacha. More than what the Mishnah says is tamei, less than what the Mishnah says is tar. Ask the Gemara the obvious question. So then why does the Mishnah tell us this halacha by black? Say it as a general rule in the Mishnah. V'chulan, that would be the proper way of finishing off the Mishnah. All these colors I just described yesterday in the Mishnah, anything one shade more is for sure tamei, because it's what we have in the Mishnah plus, and anything less is tar, because it's not what the Mishnah talks about. So how do we get to black? It started out as red, and then you introduced oxygen or whatever to it, and it turned into black. This is such a good answer that's hard to understand. Why not? How did it get to black? Because he introduced oxygen. So on the way to black, from red to black, there's different stages. So even a lighter shade of black should be tamei, because it's really red. Red is tamei. Black is tamei. How did it get from red to black? You introduced oxygen. So from the time it went from red, it became lighter, darker, until it got to black. So a shade lighter than black should be tamei also, because it's red that turned into black. Says the Gemara, no. It happens spontaneously, instantaneously. You introduce oxygen, it goes poof. Right. It goes from red to black. Boom. There is no shade in between.
There's no way they can know it's red.
Not knowing. Physical. Physically, says the Gemara, the way it turns from red to black is it's not over time. It just turns into black.
Exactly. So how would they ever know?
So there's no shade. There's no shade less than black. A shade less than black is tar. That's it. Because we're not talking about black and red. Once it's a shade less than black, then it's not the black of the Mishnah. Then it's not blood that was red that turned into black. Now you're talking about something else, a different blood that came from a different source. If it's really black, then it means it was red that turned into black. If it's lighter than black, then it's not a red that turned to black, because there is no stage like that, says the Gemara. I'll ask the scientists later if they're masking. Here, Rabbi Schoenberg has a sample. Turn your hand around, show everybody. No, the other way. Go like. Here's red that turned black. Was there at any point,
Pinch the skin.
right, on purpose for the shear,
But, and straight away it came black.
straight away? There was no brown then black.
No gradual change.
No transition.
No transition. So unless it's pitch black, it wasn't blood.
Not pitch black. The black in the Mishnah, whatever that is, cheres. I don't know what it is. That piece of thing. I don't know, black. The black of a raven, not. Black of a grape, yes. I'm not a mumch in this black, but it might be safe to assume that if it's brown on the way to becoming black, that's not in the Mishnah, because it happens straight away, like he said, instantaneously. Rabbi Ami bar Abba Amar, here's another shita. V'kulon omek mikain tamei. I think without the chart it would be very confusing. It's another shita. So now we're holding by Rabbi Ami bar Abba, right over here. And basically what he says, darker than the shade in the Mishnah is tamei, lighter than the shade of the Mishnah is tamei. Everything is tamei. V'chulon omik mikain tamei, mikain nami tamei. Everything's tamei. Chutz mishachar. That what shachar we say, everybody agrees that lighter than what the Mishnah says is tar. Hello, maya hani shiur de Rabbanon. So then why do the Rabbanon give a shiur at all? And they say, like by this we had in the crocus, right? This karkoim. This is the shear. This red over here. And if it's lighter than that, it's also tamei. So what are you giving me a shear of a karkoim? All the shades are tamei. Lapuke, lighter, another shade lighter than the shade. 2 shades lighter, I would say. Maybe. I don't know if that's what it means, but it means really much lighter. That's already tahar. V'kedami romi bar Abba Omar. V'chulon omek mikain tahar. Now you have another shita. Tahar and tahar. A second ago he said tamei and tamei. He says tar and tar. There is one constant. That's the shade of the Mishnah. Anything lighter is tar. Anything darker is tahar. Huh?
You're from the other guy in front of you.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I didn't want to say it, but now that you said it, the famous joke. How do you know that somebody next to you is very from? is like a framak, like a chanyak, or the guy next to you is a real shegitz? Depends. If he davens 10 seconds Shemona Esrei longer than you, he's a chanyak. 10 seconds shorter than you, he's a shegitz. Because you are you're the sample, you're the black. Anything lighter is tar, anything darker is tameh. You are it. That's what you meant? I was thinking that the whole time. So, shkoyach.
Pasha. That's the.
Viken Amri, Robin Barabba, Mamikulan Omik Mikentar. There Mikentar. Chutz Mishachar. Ulahachim Mahani Shiur Rabbanon. And that's why I need the Shiurim to tell me that it's exactly as so, and anything less is tar, anything more is tar. Bakabara, Mavakulam Omik Miken Tame, there Mikentar. Bakabara seems to say, like Ula, that the whole Mishnah, Shachar, red, everything is the same. In other words, there's a shade in the Mishnah. Let's say it's like earth, whatever the shade is, and then above it is tameh. More than that shade, darker is tameh. Lighter than that shade is tar. That's what Ula says. It's similar to black. The same halacha black applies to all the bloods. The only difference between Bakapar and Ula is in one dam called the shade of mazug. Chutz mi mezeg. Besides diluted wine that we said is 2/3 water, 1/3 wine, sha'amik mekain tar, they mekain tar. On that, everything has to be exactly like that shade. Anything less or more. By the way, it seems from all the Rishonim that when we're talking about these reds, it's not like you go on a scale. You go to one of those color books and you have red, 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 and so one of them is red wine, and one of them is red dirt, and one of them. No, they're completely different shades. They're not lighter than each other. One is that type of red, and one is a completely different type of red. And within those different reds, they have different shades above and below them. Bakaparo adiule vidaki. So, Bakaparo is the one that says that if you have the color red of diluted wine, either direction of the Mishnah is tar. So what do? They try to test him out. They want to see if he knows what he's talking about. So they took the color red of diluted wine and they diluted it even further, and they brought him that sample. He said, Vidaki, it's tar. Amikule, they made it a little brighter. Vidaki, he said it's tar. That's exactly what he holds. He holds anything that's not in line with the Mishnah is tar. Or Mechanino, Kamen Nofesh Gavro, Delibe, Kish might say, look how great this man is. His heart is like his learning. Ukikering Karkoim. So now we're going to what we learned the other day, Karkoim. Karkoim, according to the art scroll, is this crocus. Now, how that fits into the Gemara is extremely difficult. But based on the language and the dictionary and everything else, they say it's this flower. Now let's see how it fits into the aruch, and they bring different rice, and it's this flower, and there's many variations of this flower. What?
Similar word, karkum.
Right, it's a very similar word. Karkoim and karkois, right. The mem is machlif with the samach. Tana, lach v'lo yavesh, it must be moist and not a dried out flower. Tani chada. Now, in order that we don't have to go back on this thing, we're going to bring 4 brises that seem to be a contradiction to each other. The Gemara explains they're not a contradiction. How do you explain all these brises? This karkoim, I haven't found a picture that matches this. This is the picture of the Meiri. This is taken out of the art scroll. Looks like a dasim almost. Okay, they have 3 leaves. There's a break. 3 petals, 3 flowers break. 3 flowers break. What we're trying to get to, the Gemara is saying that the brightest red on this whole flower is the center of the center. This is the center group, the middle, top, middle, bottom. The center group, the center flower, that's the one I made in red. I try to make the other ones lighter red. They all come out the same color. So I went away from that. You're trying to get to here. So now let's read the brisa. What is the first brisa that seems like a contradiction? And we're going to say it's not I'm explaining the maskan of the Gemara. Not a contradiction. What? Tani chada. Like the bottom and not the one above, meaning we're only going to look at these 2. So it needs to be the bottom one, which is the middle, and not the one above at the top. Next brisa, seems it's a mefurish contradiction. Can't get any worse than this. No, We're talking about these two over here. So when it comes to the two bottom ones, you need to take from the Elyon, from the top one, which is the middle, and not the Tachton, the bottom one. Now, B'tanya Yidoch, Ko Elyon v'loy ketachton. Where V'tanya Yidoch, Ke Elyon v'kolchkin ketachton. Now, how to explain the third brisa? Like you should take from the upper one. And certainly, the bottom one, how does that fit in? Fits in nicely. We're talking about the middle one. So you could take from the middle, you could take all the leaves from the middle one. The best one, the brightest one of the middle, is the middle of the middle. So Memela, it says, you could take from the Elyon, take from here. But better yet, Kolchkein, if you take from the Tachton, which is lower than the middle. Right? It's very confusing. If you just read it, it's like take from the Tachton is better than the Elyon is better than the Tachton is the Tachton is the Elyon.
We're talking about the actual bloom, or we're talking about the leaves that underneath the bloom?
So I don't know. According to the art scroll, it's this red inside the leaf, the stamen, or whatever. There's another nicer word for it. Maybe when you're talking about that, there are different here. You see the yellows and the reds. Maybe there's a bunch of those in different areas. I don't know. It's hard to understand what the art scroll means. Here, this is Tachton, the lower of the middle group, Kolchkon Elyon, certainly the one right above it.
12 minutes.
Okay, so we're right over here. Fine. Omar Abaya explains Abaya exactly what we just explained. Tlasa Dori, there are 3 rows. V'tlasa Tarfei Havian, and each row there's 3. Nikoit Dora Mitzia, take the middle one. V'tarfa Mitzia Sabiel, take the middle. Take the middle row and take the middle of the middle, and therefore all these brises are answered as we just answered them. By the way, when you take this flour and you're checking it against a Niddah cloth, make sure it's in the ground. You can't pull it out of the ground. Once you pull it out of the ground, as we had a few times, you're going to have soon, it changes colors immediately, even slightly, it's going to throw you off. One of the colors in the Mishnah is like water of the earth. How do you get to this water of the earth? Mud. Maybe you bring very rich dirt. Seems like it's a 4-way machlokes, or even for shitas that are similar. You bring it from a place based at Kerem. It has like red dirt. And you put water in it. The Gemara is going to describe how you do it. Rebbe Kiva Omer, because Yoitvas, Rebbe Kiva says it comes from a place Yoitvas. Some Rishonim say no machlokes, it's just a different place. You get the same dirt. Rebbe Yossi Omer, because Sichni, Rebbe Shimon Omer, because Genoisar, any place that has similar looking dirt. Tanya Yidach, ukememe Adama, maybe Adama Shmeina, because basic Kerem. Umeitziv v'oleh mayim keklibas hashum. What do? As the Gemara says, Vein shir lemayim mishum de'ein shir la'afar. I don't know how much dirt you're taking. One guy's going to take 2 pounds of dirt. The other guy's going to take 100 pounds of dirt. So how much water do you introduce to it? Very simple. You introduce water into it until it absorbs all the water. Then you introduce a little bit more, that there's a little water on top of the dirt. However much dirt you have, that's how much water you need. So when you have a klipas hashum on top of the dirt, that's when you stop.
Over the saturation capacity.
Exactly. Slightly over what was the word you used? Saturation capacity. You don't check it when it's clear. You have to mix it up nicely. What if the water got absorbed? You gotta mix it up. Don't put the dirt in your hand and mix it. Put it inside a kli, in a vessel. Now Rashi sticks in here. He has an interesting girsa. He says, it should be in a glass, so you could look at it like this and say, wow, it's red. Says Gemara, you shouldn't put it in your hand. What if it's inside a glass kli? Could you mix it with your finger? Or maybe you have to mix it with a spoon. Toshma, it says it should be in a glass cup. Great, it has to be in a glass cup, but could you use your finger? I don't know if you can use your finger. Maybe your finger discolors it. So this is interesting also. Once you take the dirt out of Beis HaKerem, it loses its coloration. It loses that minute, just like we had before by dam. A second later, the dam changes colors, and Rav Ashi couldn't tell the difference. Over here, you take the dirt out of its place. The sun, whatever, the whatever it is, has an effect on the dirt. Rav Chanina would take the dirt itself without any liquid and check it. Rabbi Yossi cursed in those days, as the Gemara always brings. What's the worst disease a person can have? Askara. Some sort of ailment in the throat. It's like today we tell somebody you should have cancer. So with Kitzer, that's a terrible disease. He cursed anybody that would check without water with Askara, but he said, Reb Chanina the Chakim, besides Reb Chanina, he's a genius in this stuff. But nobody else could check like that. Omer Rabbi Yochanan, Chachmasa, talking about Reb Chanina, Chachmasa de Reb Chanina Garmili de Le'echze Dama. Here's another person, Rabbi Yochanan, the great Rabbi Yochanan said, I don't check b'dikas. Why? Anytime I thought something is tamei, he said right away it's tar. Everything I say is tar, is tamei. Reminds me I have a partner who's a billionaire, literally a billionaire. He's a genius in real estate. Every time I go to him, I say, oh, I did this to the property. My property, the first time I was new in it, I filled up the property 100%. I have 100. He says, you did what? 100%? Are you crazy? How do you have 100% occupancy? It's terrible. That means you're not charging enough rent. Like, oh, I didn't think about that one. Anyways, anything I would tell him, it took me years until he taught me a lot, the guy. That's why he's a billionaire. Anyway, so I come to him, I say it's tar, he says it's tar. I say it's tar, he says it's tar. Kitzer, I realize I don't know what I'm talking about, says Rabbi Yochanan. No.
He's still not a billionaire.
He's in the 70s. He's in Lincoln, lives in Lincoln, a Jewish guy in Lincoln. Not from. Omar Rabbi Elazar. I'm a Stefansky de Reb Chanina Gorei Chazoi Dama. Reb Chanina is such an onav, and the Umar Reb Chanina, the Ambeson who Mochas Nashi the Safik v'Chazoi, even though he's such an onav, he would still say I could paskin, I could go into the Safik and say what it is. When it came to halacha, he wasn't that much of an onav. I'm not such an onav. I certainly should jump into it and paskin. Omer Reb Zera. Tiva de Bavel, Gormeli de Lechazi Dami. This is very interesting because a lot of times the Gemara uses the word Tiva. Mendy, check out what the word Tiva here means. A lot of times the Gemara means Tiva means coins. If I understand coins, but over here the Gemara Lechari means science.
Natural science. Natural
right.
science.
Because I don't understand in science of Bavel of those days, Gormeli de Lechazi Dama. I don't want to check dam. I don't understand science. I'm going to start differentiating in dam. Remember, so what? You have to know science in order to be a baidik. Rabba knew science. It could be Rava, the guy over here. He knew science, but he wasn't good at dam. Kolskin Kama, no, the opposite. Rabba, who knew science, but he stayed away from dam. I don't know science. How can I get close to dam? When Ula went to Pumbedisa, he didn't want to check anything. Why? Omar. Umar Rebbe Elazar the Mara the Ari Yisrael Hava. Rebbe Elazar is the greatest when it comes to dam. When he came to Rabbi Yehuda to Pumbedisa, he wouldn't check. I don't know as much as Rebbe Elazar, so I should check over there. Why is he considered the greatest in Eretz Yisrael when it comes to this stuff? There was a woman who brought him something to check. And Rabbi Ami was sitting there watching this in astonishment. He couldn't believe it. Rabbi Elazar took it, he smelled it. Really? Oh my law, hi dam chimudu. There's something called dam that comes from desire. If a woman desires her husband, she could see dam, nothing to do with the uterus. It might come from the uterus, but nothing to do with the cycle. Now there's a big deal in Rishonim. Does that mean we're saying it's tar? L'chayr not. The Ran says yes. Many Rishonim say not, because we see later on in the sugya of a kala, she this whole thing of chimud, you have to make sure that she doesn't have chimud because she might see dam 7 days, she shouldn't see a chassan. Why is she away from a chassan 7 days? Why? Because it will make her tameh. L'chayr, I think we pass that it does make her tameh.
We don't know the nafkamina between dam chimud and dam that, but they did know the nafkamina between dam chimud.
Okay, so that's according to some Rishonim. Fine. I'll go upon him. It could be just like showing off, not showing off, just saying, look, I think there's dam chimud. What?
Davidovich does it. Does the smell.
The smell, even. Now, Rabbi Ami's watching this. He couldn't believe what he saw. So he runs over to her and he says, listen, was he right? This chimud thing, it's not such a nice, I guess, in those days, whatever. He was a Rabbi Ami. She had no problem. My husband is away on a trip and I had a desire, and yes, he's 100% right. Rabbi Ami said about his Rebbe, maybe, Soid Hashem Lireyav. This is a secret. These are secrets. He wasn't taught this. He had a siyata de Shmaya. And Hashem gives his secrets to the people he loves. Says Gemara for Hurmiz, this is a famous woman. Ime de Shabra Malko. She was a goy, but you see, she wanted to become Jewish. Says Rashi. She was makbid on Niddah. She used to bring korbanos. She was in the process. She was never successful, but she loved Jews. Shadra. Some say, right, Hurmiz means a shade. She was beautiful like a shade. Different reasons why she was called Ifra Hurmiz. I'll go upon him. Shadra is over the Kamei de Rava. She sent her dam to Rava. Havi Yosef Rabbi Vadi Kamei, and Rabbi Vadi was sitting there. Archei, he smelled it. Some say that was Rabbi Vadia. Otherwise, why does it mention his name here? He has no point in the whole story if he didn't do anything. The other problem is that it says before, it might be Rabba, might be Rava. Rava didn't understand anything about dam, it says. He didn't deal with dam. So why is he smell? Okay, fine. Whoever it was, let's talk about Rava.
It smelled like he could do.
No, it says I don't have anything to do with dam. It didn't say I don't look. On my law, hi dam chimudu. Now Rashi points out that it was a nace because Rava didn't know anything about dam, so he was mechamin elam. Hakadosh Baruch Hu gave him siyata shmaya. This you should know. He tells the mother of the king, this is dam chimud, desire dam. Omer leila bra. So she turns around to her son, who's the king. Look, these Jews are geniuses. They take a look at it, they smell it, and they know what it is. On my law, what's the first thing when you go to Mekubal? My brother-in-law told me he went to Rabbi David. Rabbi David told him he's going to have a boy. So what's the first thing I told him? 50-50, yeah. If you have a boy, you'll say, wow, the guy has Ruach HaKodesh. If not, no. See, he made a shtick. On my law, Dilma Kisuma Baruba, maybe he's like a blind man making his way down a skylight. A chimney, I don't know if it's a good idea. Chimneys are not such a good idea to go down. I'll go upon him. How do you know that he has Ruach HaKodesh? Maybe he just threw it out there. Oh, chimot. He got it. This time he got it. You know, you're right. Let's do a test. 60 bloods. This is the blood of a rhinoceros. This is the blood of a pig. This is the blood of a niddah. This is the blood of chimot. Whatever. 60 types of blood. The Kulu Aminu, Rava with his Siyata Shmaya, he got each and every one. Number 60, Ahu Basro Dam Kinim Hava. As we said, that the louse has the same color as a woman, and he didn't know very well in Dam Rava, according to Rashi. So now he's all mixed up. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know. Right? So she sends it in an envelope. Here's the dam, send it back. Send me back an answer. So what does he do? Without knowing, he puts a lice comb in the envelope as a present. Here's a nice golden comb. Nothing to do with her question. It just so happened to be a siyat shmai that was a louse, and she thought that he knew the answer. Instead of answering her, he gives her a comb.
Why do you do that?
Stam, he wanted to give her he didn't know the answer, but he wanted he gives her a present because she's the mother of the king. The Jews sit in the chamber of the hearts. Let's go another few minutes. Listen to this, Rabbi Isai. Rabbi Yehuda says, I used to check dam. The mother of my son, my baby's mama, how do they say?
Baby mama.
Kitzer, he didn't call for whatever reason. Maybe he was divorced. Maybe he wasn't happy with her. Hi, Tipso Kamaisle Misinullah Kamayo the Rabbanim Shudazima. He once heard his son's mother saying, never send the first dam tarav. Why? Because it smells. It's nice. So he chapped, wait a minute. I'm not checking the first dam. The first dam might be the dam that tells me that she's tamei. She's giving me bogus dam. The second dam might not be the dam that I need to see. His ex-wife, or anybody.
Anybody.
Since she says it, maybe other women also makbid. I don't check dam anymore. Shalom.
I'm out of here.
Nobody was divorced.
I can't check anymore. Oh, we know that a woman, after she gives birth to a boy, she has 40 days. On the 41st day, she's already tamei. A girl, up to day 80, she's tar, right? 66 days of tahara. Day 81, she's tamei. That dam on day 81, that I'll check, because it flows and flows. There's no smell anymore. That I'll check. Says the Gemara, Yalto, I said, Yalto, the famous wife of Nachman, she once broke 400 barrels in the Mesechus of Zara. She's mad at her husband. He didn't give her whatever, the wine right away. Poof. So maybe she's so mad at her husband, that's why she didn't check by her husband. Her husband was Nachman. They were trying to talk about it. Maybe she didn't want to be yeah, he's allowed, but she didn't want him to be disgusted by it. The Taisa says different pirushim. So she brought to Rabbi Vachana and he said it's tamei. He says, listen, she tells Rabbi Yitzchak, you should know Rabbi Vachana said it's tamei. I need a heter from you. Okay, tar. Oh, how can you do such a thing? You're not allowed to do that. Once a Rav says something, it becomes a halacha. Says the Gemara, first, Rabbi Yitzchak said it's tamei. He looked at right. He said, "Listen, it's tamei because Rabbi Bechana said it's tamei." So he said, "Listen, no. The reason I'm coming to you is because he had an eye ache. He wasn't able to see well. He made a mistake." You have to understand this because this part is very important. Could you trust a woman? A woman is believed to say, "I know how to differentiate in colors." Because there is to be bativ atkan. In other words, she's saying to him, this exact color, Rabbi Bar Bechana used to tell me it's tar. And Memela, I want you to say it's tar also. The big question here is, and I didn't see what the Rishonim said, I saw Baruch Hashem, yesterday we're debating, finally I found it this morning. If she knows the color, and why didn't she pass it herself? Why did she even bring it to Rav? So they say maybe that there's other rabbanim there, she shouldn't pass it. It's not even a psak. She knows the halacha. Like if a Rav says this chicken is tar, it's like this and that. You don't have to go to the Rav anymore. I ain't showing the Rishonim. To be continued. Be'ez Hashem, I think we might be starting a night share today. If anybody wants to hear the want to come to night share, 9:15 at night. No excuses anymore. You missed the morning. You better be there at night.
What time? 9:15.
9:15, right over here.
Good to know.